Welcome, everyone. Second session of this class, and hopefully you've had a chance to look over some of Pema Children's writings, and I'll be sharing kind of a summary of that towards the end of our hour today. We'll start with practice. Similar to last week, I'll be focusing, we'll do a bit of breath awareness, but largely focusing on loving kindness practice, or actually the four immeasurables, which is loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and joy. So without further ado, I hate that saying, but I just said it. Not pausing any longer. Get right to it here. It is recorded. I have to do a little. There we go. Thought I'd start with a reading by Donna Pauls. It says, whatever doesn't serve by Donna Pauls. What weight can you put down right now? Willingly relinquishing the pointed quills of guilt or judgment? What burden of the heart can lift? What dark corner can be lit? The candle flickering at first, then burning bright. With the next breath, let it go. That old story you've told yourself a million times. Whatever doesn't serve you on this path of truth, leave it behind. Offer this one gift, the simple sacrifice that in the giving sets you free to fully live. I'll read that one more time. What weight can you put down right now? Willingly relinquishing the pointed quills of guilt or judgment? What burden of the heart can lift? What dark corner can be lit? The candle flickering at first, then burning brightly. With the next breath, let it all go. That old story you've told yourself a million times. Whatever doesn't serve you on this path of truth, leave it behind. Offer this one gift, the simple sacrifice that in the giving sets you free to fully live. So again, welcome everyone. And I thought I would start, we'll start our practice with what we call preparation for meditation. So we'll be doing this preparation for meditation, a bit of breath meditation, and then the four immeasurables. And then we'll move into, I'll provide a short summary of some of the readings, followed by questions at the end. So we'll begin with about a half hour of practice. This preparation for meditation, you've probably gotten the follow-up email from our first gathering. There's a book called The Mind Illuminated. On page 45 of that book, you will find this preparation for meditation material. And it's nice because it does just that. It kind of tills the soil before we begin to meditate, and supports calmer, more stable attention when we do drop into meditation. So we begin just settling in, getting into your posture, noticing the feet on the floor. Settling into the body. And just take a moment now, this is motivation. Review your purpose for meditation, and just be honest with yourself, and don't judge your reasons. Be aware and accept them. An example might be, I want a greater peace of mind, or I want to have a time of just spaciousness, or of rest, or maybe insight, whatever it might be. Whatever your motivation. Just reviewing your purpose for tonight's meditation. And then for goals, decide what you hope to work on in this session. Maybe it's to just notice the mind quickly when it gets distracted, or when we do get distracted, to maybe remembering to be kind to ourselves and not judge that. Or Maybe it's to be able to release some stress in the body, whatever it might be. Keep it small. And then next, expectations. Bring to mind the danger of expectations and be gentle with yourself. Find enjoyment in every meditation you have, and there's really no bad meditation. If we're meditating, it's a good meditation. And then next, diligence. So resolving to practice diligently for the entire session. So bringing energy into the practice. And we just continue the practice through the next 30 minutes without judging ourselves whether it's good or bad. And finally, just making a quick check-in of things in your life that might come up to distract you. Acknowledging whatever thoughts or emotions that are coming up. And just allow them to settle to the background right now. They can take a break for the next half hour. So we're just planting the seed, the intention, not to be dominated by the mind that has many, many thoughts and emotions that can distract. Just allow those to settle and to relax. And now we'll move into our formal practice. So again, just checking your posture now. The feet are flat on the floor. The back is relatively straight. The hands can be comfortably folded in one another or on the lap or the knees, where it's comfortable for you. If you're leaning back in a chair, that's fine as well. We can also do these practices kind of in a supine or lying down position, if that works better for you. If you are sitting, just noticing the chin not being leaning too far back, having the chin tip down slightly so that the neck is comfortable. And maybe releasing any tension that might be in the shoulders, the jaw, the face. And just taking 4 or 5 slow, deep breaths now, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and just softening and relaxing on each exhale. And just feeling yourself arriving fully in this moment in the body, with awareness of the whole body and the breath in the body. Just being with the breath right now. Just being with the rhythm of the breath in the body. Maybe noticing, is the breath long or short, shallow or deep? Just resting in the breath. And for the next half hour or so, there's really, in our practice, there's nothing really to accomplish. There's nowhere to go to, nothing to resolve, no problems to solve. We're just befriending our moment by moment experience, being with whatever arises with an open heart. And just inviting the whole body to soften, soothe, and rest. Noticing any areas of contraction or tension or tightness or pain, and just breathing through those areas with the invitation for that area to just soften, soothe, and rest. And we'll just take a couple more minutes now to stabilize the attention a bit more by, again, noticing the breath in the body and just being with the sensation of the breath as we breathe in, breathe out, following all the way in, all the way out. And then maybe noticing that end point when the breath is at its end at the exhale. And just continuing to be with the sensation of the breath all the way in, all the way out, and just noticing that point when the exhale ends. Now we'll move into the what we call the four Brahma Viharas, or the four divine abodes, or the four immeasurables, many names for it. And these are a set of practices. We did these in the first class. And they work with emotional states of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And we'll begin with loving kindness, what we call metta. And this is an unconditional wish for all beings to be happy. It's a gentle friendliness that expects nothing in return and seeks the well-being of others and oneself. In practicing metta, this involves intentionally cultivating this warm, inclusive feeling, often beginning with oneself and gradually expanding towards others. So we'll move into the metta practice now, directing it towards ourselves. May I be happy, well, and at peace. May I know things just as they are. May I experience the world open to me just as I am. May I welcome whatever arises. May I be happy, well, and at peace. May I open to things just as they are. May I experience the world opening to me just as I am. May I welcome whatever arises. And then maybe shifting this to a friend, someone that you can love easily, wishing them loving kindness. May you be happy, well, and at peace. May you open to things just as they are. May you experience the world open to you just as you are. May you welcome whatever arises. May you be happy, well, and at peace. May you open to things just as they are.
Yeah. Can everyone please mute?
May you experience the world opening to you just as you are. May you welcome whatever arises. And then we'll shift to compassion now. This is called karuna, or compassion, and it's the heartfelt wish for beings to be free from suffering. It arises naturally when one deeply empathizes with the pain of others and wants to help relieve it, to relieve that pain. Compassion is not pity. It's a courageous, active quality that sees suffering clearly and responds with care. Like metta, or loving kindness, it can be systematically cultivated through our meditation and our contemplations. So moving into the practice of compassion now. This will begin with ourselves, extend it to others. May I be free of suffering, harm, and disturbances. May I accept things just as they are. May I experience the world accepting me just as I am. May I serve whatever arises. May I be free of suffering, harm, disturbance. May I accept things just as they are. May I experience the world accepting me just as I am. May I serve whatever arises. May I be free of suffering, harm, and disturbance. May I accept things just as they are. May I experience the world accepting me just as I am. May I serve whatever arises. And perhaps there's someone that you would like to direct this compassion towards, someone that is suffering, connecting to their suffering, not through sadness, but with care. Bring an image of that person into your heart. Extending these words. May you be free of suffering, harm, and disturbance. May you accept things just as they are. May you experience the world accepting you just as you are. May you serve whatever arises. May you be free of suffering, harm, and disturbance. May you accept things just as they are. May you experience the world accepting you just as you are. May you serve whatever arises. And moving into what we call mudita or sympathetic joy. And this is the ability to take genuine delight in the happiness and success of others. And it's a counter to or an antidote to envy and jealousy, which often arises when comparing oneself to others. Practicing sympathetic joy means celebrating the good fortune of others as if it were your own, fostering a sense of connectedness and abundance. So begin with these phrases, just bringing to mind someone that you would like to connect with, have genuine delight in their success and their happiness. Extending these words, may you enjoy the activities of life itself. May you enjoy things just as they are. May you experience the world taking joy in all that you do. May you know what to do, whatever arises. May you enjoy the activities of life itself. May you enjoy things just as they are. May you experience the world taking joy in all that you do. May you know what to do, whatever arises. May you enjoy the activities of life itself. May you enjoy things just as they are. May you experience the world taking joy in all that you do. May you know what to do, whatever arises. And we can extend this to ourselves as well, taking joy in our achievements, our successes. May I enjoy the activities of life itself. May I enjoy things just as they are. May I experience the world taking joy in all that I do. May I know what to do, whatever arises. May I enjoy the activities of life itself. May I enjoy things just as they are. May I experience the world taking joy in all that I do. May I know what to do, whatever arises. And now we'll move to equanimity. This is the balancing. The fourth is among the three: loving kindness, compassion, and joy. And it's the quality of even-mindedness and impartiality, grounded in deep wisdom. Equanimity understands that all beings are the owners of their actions and that we cannot control the unfolding of others' lives. It doesn't mean indifference, but a spaciousness, a steady heart that remains open and compassionate in the midst of joy and sorrow, gain and loss. Equanimity understands that all beings are the owners of their actions, and that we cannot control the unfolding of others' lives. It doesn't mean, however, indifference, but a spaciousness, a steady heart that remains open and compassionate in the midst of joy and sorrow, gain and loss. So we'll begin with ourselves. May I be free from preference and prejudice. May I know things just as they are. May I experience the world knowing me just as I am. May I see into whatever arises. May I be free from preference and prejudice. May I know things just as they are. May I experience the world knowing me just as I am. May I see into whatever arises. May I be free from preference and prejudice. May I know things just as they are. May I experience the world knowing me just as I am. May I see into whatever arises. And extending this to all beings. May all beings be free from preference and prejudice. May all beings know things just as they are. May all beings experience the world knowing them just as they are. May all beings see into whatever arises. And now just returning to the breath in the belly. And the rise and fall of the abdomen. And just noticing the quality of the mind and the heart right now, the body. Perhaps something was stirred up. Perhaps there's this quiet. Perhaps there's sleepiness, whatever might be there. Just being with the body and the breath, and the emotions and the mind as it is. We need to change anything right now. Noticing the rhythm of the breath now. It's the breath deep, shallow, long, short. Just resting in the breath. And just briefly before we end, maybe just doing a little Vipassana practice where it's insight meditation, where we kind of look to see if we can find a center to this thing we call self or our identity, our ego. Is there a certain location in the body? Is there a center for that sense of self? Is there a periphery? Is there a thickness to it, color? Or is it kind of amorphous? Is it kind of fleeting? Wherever it may seem like wherever we direct our attention, there the self is. So you can even direct our attention outside the body. And then that sense of self may be much larger than the body. So we begin to see the self as not really fixed place or a point. As we investigate this common belief as being a separate self that's located maybe in the head or the chest, wherever, but just investigating. Perhaps we notice maybe the self is just awareness, wakefulness that seems to have no center and no periphery. Both encompasses this universe and transcends it. It's beyond the material realm. It's just awake and aware without beginning or end, perhaps. So a curious thing to investigate. We'll do more with this in later sessions. So coming back to the breath now in the belly, feeling the feet on the floor. Taking a few deep breaths. And opening the eyes if you'd like, or you can keep them closed. I'm just going to move into a short summary with some questions of the readings. At some point, if you have a response when I ask a question, you can unmute, or everybody can unmute if you want, or you can just do it when you have a response. And if there are no responses, I'll just go to the next little piece. So I thought I'd start with the book and kind of encapsulate some of what Pema was sharing with us. Pema says the path of mindfulness and loving kindness is a journey of turning toward suffering, not escaping it. And she contrasts this with, she says, unlike many self-help approaches that aim for self-improvement or transcendence, this path of loving kindness teaches courageous presence for meeting life's pain, fear, and uncertainty with openness and compassion, and I would say curiosity. Pema Children's teachings invite us to descend into our experience, to discover what she calls bodhicitta, or the awakened heart, or our innate capacity for love and compassion. She goes on to talk about bodhicitta, the awakened heart, which is the natural, uncorrupted heart within every being. It emerges most clearly when we face despair and vulnerability with honesty instead of shutting down. And this tenderness is a form of strength, allowing us to respond to pain with compassion. And when we stop protecting ourselves from discomfort, we touch our shared humanity and awaken the love that never dies. And a question around this, if you want to reflect on it. Can you think of a moment in your life where you touched into what you might call the awakened heart in the face of suffering? And you can just reflect on this if you're moved to speak, but just take a minute. We can each, in our own way, kind of reflect on that. I'll read it again. Can you think of a moment in your life where you touched into what might be called your awakened heart in the face of suffering? This could be toward yourself or another or a situation in the world. I'll let that settle. I'll move on to the next section, which is the warrior of the heart. Those who walk this path of the awakened heart are called the bodhisattvas, or warriors of non-aggression. Their battle is internal, meeting fear and ego and avoidance with mindfulness rather than resistance. They cultivate the four limitless qualities, which was the practice we did earlier, which is loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And the aim is not perfect happiness, but what she calls spiritual maturity, the ability to stay open in uncertainty and live with honesty instead of fear. Be open to uncertainty and live with honesty instead of fear. And I'll ask another question that you can ponder. Maybe I'll send these questions to you guys so you can, if you want to journal on them. So how do you personally respond when you encounter emotional discomfort or pain? Can you think of a time when staying with it, with the discomfort and pain, rather than avoiding it, brought unexpected insight or compassion? I'll read that again. How do you personally respond when you encounter emotional discomfort or pain? I have lots of answers for that one. Some not so good. Can you think of a time when staying with it rather than avoiding it brought unexpected insight or compassion? And if you're ever moved to respond to any of these, but let's take a moment to think, reflect. This is about interior work, not necessarily the collective. So the next section that Pema talked about was Maitri, or loving kindness towards ourselves. This is a biggie. I think I've talked about it in other classes. The psychologists talk about negativity bias, and we tend to be extremely judgmental of ourselves, harsh on ourselves. And I don't know if Western culture is more that way, but being in a competitive culture and competitive often with others, we can be pretty critical of ourselves, not measuring up to some interior view of how we should be, which is often prescribed by the outer world. So Maitri, or loving kindness towards ourselves. The foundation of this practice is Maitri, unconditional friendliness towards ourselves. Maitri means holding our anxious or wounded mind with gentleness, with that tender heart. Interesting response when we judge ourselves to meet that with a tender heart. She says, do this like a mother caring for her, like a mother hen caring for her little chick. Hopefully it's a friendly hen. We learn to love ourselves not only when we succeed, but also when we are confused and struggling. This challenges the usual self-help mindset of self-improvement. Instead of fixing ourselves, we befriend all parts of ourselves. So we're embracing the wholeness of who we are. Self-improvement often will identify something that we want to get rid of, and that can create a lot of inner conflict. Through curiosity and kindness, we come to understand what truly brings happiness and causes harm. I think I had a question related to this one. So yeah, the application of Maitri. In what ways might you begin to offer loving kindness to parts of yourself that you usually criticize or reject? In what ways might you begin to offer loving kindness to parts of yourself that you usually criticize or reject? And this is where the insight meditation, will work with it more, can be powerful. Self-inquiry, when we don't push a part of ourselves away that we might often reject, if we can sit with it, we often can connect to a deeper level of what is being asked for there or denied. We might have some healing that can happen by just having that open mind, open heart with some quality that we often reject. How are we doing on time? 15 minutes. I'm just about done. So the next section was about meditation, training in presence and compassion. It says, meditation is how we train the mind to stay open and kind. Through mindful awareness practice, we observe our thoughts and emotions without, I don't know if I have to think about this, without judgment. Noticing moments of stillness beneath the chatter, this helps us develop unconditional friendliness toward ourselves and empathy for others. We also learn that our thoughts and stories are impermanent, important. Our thoughts and storylines are quite fleeting, and they, according to what the circumstances are, they can change quite rapidly. When we stop clinging to them as truth, we experience freedom and clarity. And this is the impermanence piece. Again, this is when we look at where's that center of the self, and it's kind of hard to identify where's the center of our beliefs, where's the center of our ethics. Now, ethics may be pretty solid, but sometimes ethics can be a little elusive when we're doing our IRS taxes. Do I really want to claim that thing that I think I could claim for a deduction? I don't know. Sometimes we bend our ethics. But unconditional friendliness towards ourselves and empathy for others is the core of the training of mindfulness. And recognizing, especially the judgmental mind, as being limited in its wisdom, that judgment is based on our past experiences, typically, of how things should be or could be. And that's, if we investigate that, we can find that that's circumstances change and no longer holds true. So you want to hold on to it so tightly. We want to be a little more flexible with our belief systems. I guess that's where empathy comes in with others. To truly empathize, we have to be curious and be willing to suspend our own worldview long enough to really hear the other, which is amazing. And another piece, this is kind of a repeat, but it talks about discomfort as our teacher. It says, in this tradition, painful emotions are not enemies, but teachers. Fear, anger, and grief show us where we resist reality. By staying with these feelings instead of fleeing or reacting, we break old patterns of avoidance and grow in resilience. The ability to rest with pain and uncertainty without scapegoating or escaping mark true spiritual maturity. The question I had related to this was, what does spiritual maturity mean to you after hearing about the idea of staying with painful emotions instead of fixing or escaping? What does spiritual maturity mean to you after hearing about the idea of staying with painful emotions instead of fixing or escaping? What does spiritual maturity mean to you after hearing about the idea of staying with painful emotions instead of fixing or escaping? I think I keep repeating this because it must be important to me. I think that instead of fixing part is an interesting piece because it is so easy to this want a quick solution, and taking the time to really self-reflect and look at the root why we're shifting away from pain. It's tough, hard work. And I think that's the end of what I had. I'll just close with these words and then open it up to any questions. Loving kindness is not just a personal discipline, but a collective practice. A way of nurturing compassion and resilience in community. So there's this loving kindness is towards ourselves, and traditionally towards our loved ones, towards people who are neutral that we don't know well, and ultimately towards those people that we have the most difficult relationships with, extending loving kindness and compassion to those that we might at the moment really dislike or hate. Through mindfulness and loving kindness, an awakened heart cultivate the capacity to remain open, even in the midst of uncertainty, fear, and suffering. This is the essence of the warrior's path, the awakened heart. The end. Thank you, Pema, for your wisdom. How are we doing? Time? Well, we still have a few minutes. So for our next session, I think I had us read up to about chapter 12, if I'm not mistaken. So I haven't really thought about how far we'll read for the next one, but probably about 8 or 10 chapters again. It's fine. I mean, that's they're not really chapters, they're like one page little teaching lessons. So feel free to read as much as you want, but that's about how much of a chunk. I think I did about 10 chapters tonight with my summary. So that was probably about the most I can convey in one session. But that's what we'll be working on. You'll get an email again with background materials that you can work with. The Mind Illuminated book is a great reference if you want to really do in-depth meditation practice that includes concentration meditation, what he calls shamatha meditation, and how that couples with mindfulness to then move into what he calls vipassana meditation. So that's a very in-depth practice manual. One of many manuals. I work with some of that now, but not as much as I used to. I'm working with other things. So questions, comments, anyone on tonight's practice or the readings? I'm curious this format of doing sitting practice first and then doing this review afterwards. If that works for people, it feels, I think we've tried it in the reverse where we do discussion and then enter practice, but it doesn't seem, I don't know. I don't know. This is my preference, but if anyone has any comments about starting with meditation and then ending with discussion or reversing that. I think sometimes we're quieter after we meditate, but I think that's fine to have. I used to want people to have a lot of questions and comments, but I think it is more of an introspective practice, really. If you're moved to share, that's fine, but I'll stop. Any comments, questions, feedback? And if you're cooking any extra stuff, food this week, bread, desserts, my address is 2523 Ridgeview Drive. You can just drop them off. Oh, no, wait, that was a different class. That was a cooking class. So thank you. I guess we have closing slides about some upcoming events. And if you're moved to donate, we always have our donate slide, which I just love. I think that's in the chat as well. There's a URL link. Oh, you're going to start with upcoming events. So we have a Thoughtful Thursday coming up. United Farm Workers organizer Daniel Orpiza. He's a very awesome guy. That'll be on October 27 to 8:30. You can get information on our website. That should be quite an interesting conversation given all the immigration issues that are happening right now. I'm going to be having a mindfulness retreat on Saturday, November 22nd out at UUCC in Portage on Shaver Road from 10 to 3. And we'll walk through more in depth. I'll be doing maybe a little bit of yoga and concentration practice, vipassana, loving kindness practice, a number of things, some non-dual practice, get a little more in depth. And UUCC is sponsoring the Portage Community Thanksgiving Service and Pie Potluck. So you're invited to come out to the church on November 23rd. Bring a pie if you're so moved. And we'll be sharing pie and Thanksgiving together with a group of progressive churches from around Kalamazoo and Portage that gather every year. It's a nice celebration, usually some really good music. And then we have our Sunday services at our church on Shaver Road. And this month, we'll be exploring hope, gratitude, and sustenance. You can do this, come in person at 10 a.m., or you can tune in online. And again, all that information is at uucommunitychurch.org. Welcome to check that out and register for anything that might be upcoming. The Thoughtful Thursday, typically you register for that. If you want to hear the speaker but can't be there at that time, you'll be sent a link so you can watch it on YouTube at a later date. And then our final slide. And if you're interested in ever donating to our church community to support this type of programming, whether it's my mindfulness or our retreats or Thoughtful Thursdays or our services, you can give online with the tinyurl.com. Donate to UUCC. You can take a photo of that if you want with your phone, or there is a link in the chat as well. So thank you all for coming tonight, and we'll be back. Wow, December 1st. Ooh, I got to be there the first day of December. All right. But we'll see you shortly then, right after Thanksgiving. And do have a wonderful time with family and friends, and take that time for gratitude for this time of year of harvest and harvesting both the wonderful bounty of food and sharing that with others that may be in need. Anything else, Deborah, or is that it? All set. All right.
Yep,
well, thank you all.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you in a few weeks, and enjoy Pamela's book. Bye-bye. Hope to see you at the retreat on November 22nd. If you want to come on Saturday. Bye-bye.